Hi again then guys, and so we've got another top speed setup for you today on Forza 6, and this time it's for the hugely popular Nissan GTR. Now this particular vehicle is not quite as powerful as you'd probably assume it would be on a game like this. You can't really swap it out for say the 6-litre V12, which is one of the most powerful engines in the game, but for GTR fans you probably don't mind about that. That being said, despite the fact that you're putting out less power, the acceleration in particular is still monstrous. Now as you can see, just under 1.8 seconds to 60, 3.8 seconds to 100 and 265 miles per hour, plus that's on racing tyres. You put this thing on drag tyres and it will be even quicker. It's a monster, in other words. Now, I'd recommend, of course, doing all of your upgrades that improve the car. I would recommend keeping it all-wheel drive and not doing the engine swap. As far as the gearbox, which is of course the most important thing for that straight line speed, you want a final drive of 2.85, then individual gears of 3.05, 2.02, 1.55, 1.20, 0.95 and 0.75. Then for the rest of the setup, I've basically done what I usually do. Neutral camber, neutral toe. I like my caster angle quite high because it stiffens up the steering. You don't have to do that though. Again, with the anti-roll, rounded them off to 30. For the springs, I've rounded them off to 830 and 760. For the ride height, I would recommend 4.5 inches front and rear. As far as the dampers, I've rounded them off to 9 and 8.5, then 6.5 on both. And finally for the diff, I would recommend a centre split of 70% in favour of the rear. That improves your launch off the line and also gets more of your top end power when you're doing speeds like 265 down to the road more effectively. So that's it for the setup. Now let's, of course, as we always do, take it out to the track to see if it can actually reach that quoted speed. Now with the GTR, you're pretty much always guaranteed strong performance, but I was initially disappointed with this vehicle when I tuned it, not because of the speed, but actually because of the power. It used to be more powerful back in the day on Forza, even as recently as Forza 4. It had, I can't remember exactly how much power, but if I recall, significantly more than it has now, to say the least. That being said, what it does with that roughly 900 horsepower that it has now is still pretty impressive. Now as you can see, the top end performance does struggle compared to some others. The quoted speed is 265, but actually getting there is another thing altogether. Now it depends if you want to potentially have that top end speed, or if you'd rather reduce the gearing down a little bit, in particular the final drive, to improve the acceleration so that you can get to that speed quicker. If so, then obviously I hope you find it fun and obviously competitive enough for straight line racing. And as I said earlier, if you do fit it with drag tyres, it will be even quicker, in particular off the line. And if you'd like to see other builds which we've done and also others to come, be sure to do that by hitting subscribe down below. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.